Okay, dokie here. Let's see what we're doing. Hold on a minute. Okay, just make sure my mic is working. I think it is. It looks like it's working down here. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's working. All right, it's me. Actually, right on time today. It's extremely surprising. Of course, the posted video hasn't been put up yet, which is, you know, part of the whole deal. Oh, let me hide the fat a little bit. Okay, there you go. Uh, so Pete Hegseth is going off the wall. Apparently, they say his a lot of his stuff is theology based because he's dealing with some sort of religious influence, and I look at it and say, well, I don't know a religious sect that would order troops not to give any quarter. No quarter is, of course, the command that I forget the general's name at the Alamo that resulted in Davy Crockett and everybody else's death down there. Where it was around 300 people were killed, slaughtered, executed after the battle, and Santa Anna was the general's name. Yeah. But apparently, saying that to troops or making a public statement that we're not going to give any quarter can be considered or construed, however you want, whatever words you want to use, as a war crime. Now, if there is a guy out there that's nuts enough to be arrested for war crimes, it's Pete. He's not sane. You know, that's the problem with that whole cabinet. There's not one person in that cabinet that could be classified as 100% sane, in my opinion. That's my opinion, you know. I mean, it doesn't mean much in the scope of things, but that's my opinion. Uh, he's not he's not wrapped too tight, you know. When you get down to it, he's what is it? He's I can't remember the terminology, but he's over the hill. He's like, this is it. This is what I do. This is my. I'm in charge. I'm the greatest soldier ever. You know, he makes Patton look like a calm, everyday, run of the mill guy. You know, and Patton was a little nuts, but that's what made him a great general. Patton's knowledge of war was able to, you know, reach back and see what was going on. And that's the problem. I don't think Pete's ever read Sun Tzu or ever played Go or even knows how to play chess. So he's just sitting up there spouting off and ordering his men, and he doesn't care because he's in a bunker when he does that. Okay? He's not in an office. He's in a bunker. He doesn't have a house on the street. He has a house on, I believe it's in Camp David, in the middle of the military encampment. So he's, you know, he has these soldiers running around saluting him all the time. I give him the finger and fuck it, throw me in jail. You know, I got in trouble for not saluting many times because I just, you know, it's too much of an effort, too cold, whatever. Did a lot of push-ups because it hadn't basic training, and then afterwards I just didn't bother at all. So, you know, except one captain I did. I had a captain during basic training that I would have saluted and I would have followed anywhere he wanted to go. 101st Airborne, combat veteran of Vietnam, just came back from Vietnam and they put him in charge of us. And I would have done anything that man asked. He was just a really smart, good leader, you know. Oh, but Pete's off the wall. He really is. I think he or Patel will probably be one of the next guys that get fired, especially if the war doesn't go the way Trump wants it to go, or, you know, Patel does something. Patel's more likely because he'll do something stupid. He's like the FBI is his little playpen where he gets to spend all of the government's money. And check it out, both of these clowns have spent ridiculous amounts of money on food and stuff like that. And I don't know how you could spend that much money on food, unless you're feeding the homeless. And then we know that's not Hegset's policy whatsoever. I don't know about Patel. He might be trying to buy sympathy, but Hegset don't give a shit about nobody. So, him spending all that money, you got to figure out something's going on there. Well, that's takes care of that clown for the day, anyhow. Then the president of the Kennedy Center, I thought Trump was the president, but I guess not. This guy was put in to run the day-to-day operations or something like that. And even though he's tore the place apart, he got fired yesterday, which, is typical of Donald Trump. He probably tried to put his name on something, or someplace in the building. Maybe even if it was a men's room, he would have gotten fired for that, because that's Trump's little palace. That's Trump's big thing. My name goes everywhere, and your name goes nowhere. But I don't know if that's why he got fired or not. But I don't think he did anything. Or maybe he wasn't working fast enough. I don't know. Or maybe he didn't do enough to try and keep the people from leaving, and most of the artists and whatnot left. So I don't know what's going on there. But he was fired. And that's typical Trump. He's actually way behind in firing appointees and cabinet people than he was in his first term. So we just sit back and wait, And Pete has only one word in his vocabulary. Yes'm, 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 yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, and that's all one word to him. Yes sir, So he doesn't argue with Trump. He doesn't suggest anything to Trump. I don't know how he gets his wacky ideas to Trump. I don't know whether Stephen Miller likes the guy or not, so that's another little story going on there. We'll have to wait and see that one folds out. But, and I think Miller's getting on Trump's nerves a little bit too, because he's starting to show up in the news a lot. And I don't think Trump likes that. I don't think Trump likes the idea that he's being told what to do, or that these people are advising him, I don't know. It doesn't sound like Donald, but you never know with that clown. And now we have J.D. Vance, Mr. I've disappeared the last 2 weeks. He would come out and very enthusiastically support the various actions of the president, going back to, I don't know, but going back, a year or so, and then all of a sudden now he's not really saying much of anything. He has no opinion, basically, which, is what Trump likes about him. He has no opinions. He says nothing. And that's what Trump likes about vice presidents. He doesn't like vice presidents he doesn't like people around him that, have their own opinion or like to speak up about anything, make a comment on something, that may not exactly be in line with Trump, So Vance wants to be the next president of the United States. And I think the only way he gets to be that way is if Trump dies or is removed from office. I don't think he can win a general election if they have a fair and honest general election. I don't think that, and not because he's a Republican, it's because he's a very despised individual. His lifestyle is he's changed political beliefs, all in an effort to appease a public that really doesn't want anything to do with him. And now he's lost most of his support in Ohio as a senator because of Trump. But he doesn't care because he thinks Trump is the way for him to become president. And unless that's why he shut up, because he doesn't believe that anymore, which I would doubt he would do that, because that would, you cannot. Trump is one of these rare individuals that you have to constantly pat on the ass and say, "Good job, Donnie. We all love you, Donnie. You're right. Everybody else is wrong. Science doesn't exist. Climate change doesn't exist. It's all bullshit. You're right." And in return, they get to make money because they get to steal a little bit, hide a little bit, whatever it is. Oh man. So that's JD. I don't know what's going to happen to him down the road. You never know. He's he's a two-faced scumbag. So eventually shit usually catches up to those people. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. You know. But at the moment, he's sitting. He's sitting okay. You know. As you can see, my dog Lucy is with me. She's exhausted. She had a long walk this morning, ran into a pack of dogs, and they had a conversation. They didn't neither. None of them were interested in running around. They were all just, it's too damn hot down here, and the humidity's too high. And you got to remember something. I'm at approximately between 7,000 and 9,000 feet above sea level where I am. All right, that's like living in Denver. So you run around a little bit, you can't breathe. I know I have trouble breathing walking up and down the hills, but and I don't know whether that height assessment is right. I just read, the city that I live in, and I live higher than that city is. But I'm in the suburb I'm in the suburb of Medellin. That's how long. That makes sense, called, I live in Bayo, theoretically, and Bayo is 8,000 some odd feet above sea level. And this mountain that I drive up is at least from the bottom of the hill where the highway is to the top of the hill where I live is at least 1,000 feet elevation, if not more. I think it's more than that, because some of the hills are like this. Outside my house, once you walk out of my house and you start to continue up, the hill gets to be something like this of an angle. I mean, it's like this, and then all of a sudden it goes to like this. And the last 100 yards is a killer on this hill over here, and then you go across the street and you go up even higher, and then you go across that street and you go up this way and you go up even higher. But that's a sort of a gradual climb. And around you, you're surrounded by mountains that are higher than you. We're like that. We're like Lake George in New York. We're in a fishbowl. So a lot of times things just sort of want to wrap around us and keep going. Although to the southeast of us, I think that's the direction. Usually it starts to flatten out a little bit. So storms come through here where I live, this which would be in this direction or slightly over this way, and then they just go out sometimes. If you're lucky, they go away. So anyhow, what is this? Oh yeah, the Italian people. I didn't understand this completely when I read it real fast this morning, but from what it looks like, if you're an Italian citizen or your parents are Italian citizens and live overseas, and you're born outside the country, you are no longer automatically an Italian citizen. Something along those lines, and it could take you 10 years to get your citizenship. So I don't know what's going on, especially if you're because like In the United States, you're considered a United States citizen if you're born here. Unless Trump's been trying to change that, but for now, it's I don't know whether he succeeded or not. But Italy's trying to do the same thing, only theirs is much more complicated because there are people overseas that are Italian descent that are going to lose their Italian citizenship, which to me makes absolutely no sense. Huh? Wonder what that is. I guess it's on the wall behind me. All right. Well, you see, I'm scatterbrained now. It's time for me to go. So hit that subscribe button. Hey, listen, I made the my homepage of when I open up YouTube, it shows what the videos that are out there for other people and everything like that. It's the homepage. I made it to their homepage yesterday with the live video that I did yesterday. Don't ask me why, but they did, and I'm grateful for that. And we'll see what happens how that helps me or not. But I want you people to understand that these are my views of situations that. I have no inside information or anything else. I take news articles, I look at them, and I say this doesn't sound good, and then I tell you why I think that. But I wish I could talk about more stuff. I wish we could talk about fishing, which I haven't done in such a long time. I wish we could talk about wood carving, but that gets I don't know how to do a video and talk about that at the same time. Uh, just different things that I wish we could. I wish I could learn how to do, and that I had the intelligence to do this stuff. But I do have the intelligence to form an opinion, and I do, and I tell you. So anyhow, that's it for me today. I won't, I don't do videos on Sunday. So I'll see you guys on Monday. And in the meantime, have a great weekend and try to stay out of trouble, huh?